We live in a strange world with a lot of strange happenings. Animals are living organisms lower in categorization than man, and as such, there are certain things that are excusable for these creatures. However, who would believe the world would come to a place where adorable animals could cause harm or nuisance to the extent of being arrested and jailed? Don't be surprised. It did happen, and it's still happening. We can't decide to do away with animals such as pets, as they are very important both in our lives and in the balance of life cycle. What's more interesting is that some of these animals were jailed for the most inconceivable reasons. I mean, why would you want to lock up an animal in the first place? Welcome back to another episode of Forever Green, and today, I will be showing you 15 animals that have been arrested for unexpected reasons. You can't imagine what I have for number 1, and definitely do not want to miss it, so watch till the end. 15. The pigeon arrested for espionage. Before the invention of phones and instant messaging, birds like the owl, pigeon, and eagle have been trained and used to deliver messages over short and long distances. It was the best option available, discreet, affordable, and easy to maintain. It would be hilarious to arrest a pigeon, but according to some Indian officers, it would be a risk to state security to disregard the constant flight of a particular bird or a set of birds over a specific area. This pigeon is said to have been arrested for espionage, spying. According to the officials who caught it, it was declared to be a Pakistani spy in India. This would seem hilarious, but the basis of this accusation was the fact that a ring was found on its leg, with a code they couldn't decipher. A man claimed the pigeon was his own and saying the code was his number, but his statements and claims were not convincing to the extent that the pigeon would be released to him. The pigeon was handed over to the wildlife control authorities in India. 14. The beaver arrested for destructive Christmas shopping. Beavers are animals generally known to be attracted to trees as they are herbivores. Therefore, they tend to feed on the barks and leaves of trees. In my opinion, this beaver was just hungry or probably a very curious one. The beaver was attracted to the Christmas decorations in a store in Washington during the festive period, mostly since it was a decorated Christmas tree. With no destructive intentions, it approached the Christmas tree only to find out it was artificial. The hungry beaver got angry, or should I say disappointed, and couldn't contain its anger, and then it began a destructive act on the tree. The store attendant called the cops, and she got the beaver arrested by animal control. Later on, the beaver was released to the Animal Rehabilitation Center. 13. The parrot arrested for being insultive. We'd agree that we love parrots for their intelligence, inquisitive, and overwhelming attitude, and talent to mimic or repeat a constant statement.
Can you do a red wolf? How about an owl? The pretty songbirds? How about a rooster?
The parrot was apprehended for allegedly insulting an old woman who lives outside its owner's house several times. In fact, almost every time they crossed paths. The old woman couldn't take it anymore and reported to the community police, claiming her stepson taught the parrot to insult her, which is pretty straightforward as the culprit is not the parrot, but rather her stepson. Unfortunately, the parrot was apprehended and interrogated. Funny, right? They could not bring the parrot to say anything over a period, so the parrot was handed to the Forest Department and kept in a cell meant for people guilty of violating the Forest Conservation Act. Despite being away from home and all, the parrot was still reported to not have said anything. Talk about not cracking under pressure. Some of you would have given up your owner. 12. The squirrel arrested for stalking. Squirrels are naturally found in human habitats, especially on trees, burrows, and as pets living and coexisting with humans. So far, we haven't had to think they are harmful or hear of any tragic news regarding squirrels, except for the fact of the nuisance caused by barging into homes in search of food or trying to escape from predators. Well, this case is different, as this squirrel was arrested for stalking. I see no sense in this claim except you are walking around with a bag filled with nuts. Then that would be logical, or perhaps a spirit possessed the squirrel. That would be extremely hilarious and definitely didn't happen. Well, a woman in distress claimed she was being followed, wait for it, and she also claimed she was being chased by a squirrel. Though unheard of, the squirrel was apprehended and transferred to a rescue center. This happened in Berlin, Germany. If you think that was ridiculous, let us know what you think about the number 1 pick for today's video. 11. The bad monkeys and monkey jail, India. Monkeys are animals that possess quick tempers, high intelligence, and are known for their cunning and conniving ways. which often gets them into a lot of trouble. So at some point, we can say having a prison for the erring, annoying, and mischievous monkeys isn't totally out of place. But not all monkeys are evil. In fact, monkeys are very friendly and can adjust easily to a new environment and as well relate with the people there as long as they feel safe. Monkey jail is a special jail system set aside for, so to say, bad monkeys. Monkeys that disturb the peaceful and coordinated atmosphere of the human environment. The monkey jail is found in India, where there's a wide spread of monkeys, and the killing of monkeys is a sin in some parts of India, especially amongst the Punjabis. So, to attain a balance, the monkey jail serves as the solution to atrocities committing monkeys instead of being allowed to roam freely. Several monkeys have been jailed for invading private and public properties, murder, nuisance, stealing, and several other intolerable activities. The monkeys jailed are not given names. Instead, they are identified and called by the names of environments or communities they were captured in. 10. The cat arrested for aiding an attempted prison break. Not only dogs and birds, even cats can be very loyal, helpful, and as well can be trained to a reasonable high extent, and can also be extremely reliable. A cat was caught by prison guards in Brazil's northeast Alagoas state. Taped to its body were a phone, a charger, and drilling equipment. It was said the feline had been previously sighted, but a clear picture or view wasn't gotten as it was always moving at a very high speed. After it was apprehended and investigated, all the equipment found on it were suitable to be used for a prison break. But who could be trying to break out of prison still remains a mystery. But one thing is for sure, the cat was owned by one of the inmates, as they could not identify who owned the cat or who sent the cat to the prison, and all the 250 inmates in prison at the time were allegedly suspect, and the cat was transferred to animal control. 9. The Fiesty donkey arrested for violence. Donkeys are animals rather known to be cool and calm. Basically, any animal that allows you to ride on its back is psychologically stable, socially balanced, and physically fit. Nonetheless, this doesn't make them less of a living entity. Normally, any living thing will retaliate when provoked. In Chiapas, southern Mexico, a donkey landed itself in jail for biting and kicking 2 men. It was arrested on counts of violence and also severely injuring 2 men. Although what caused the enragement of the donkey is still unclear, the donkey was later released on bail after its owner paid the hospital bills and some dues to the victims. What started the fight still remains a mystery. The donkey spent a total of 3 days in jail. 8. The cat arrested for smuggling contraband. As known, cats can be brilliant, tactful, and adorable. But what I bet you didn't know is cats can be trained to carry out heinous acts. Well, this particular cat was remanded after it was caught by some officials in prison in Sri Lanka with a bag tied around its neck. The cat was taken into custody and was given a shakedown. The bag found contained hard drugs, heroin to be precise, measuring up to 2 grams, SIM cards, and a memory chip. This cat was locked up in a cell, but to the shock of the prison officials, who probably underestimated the feline, it escaped from the walls of the prison. No one knows the cat's age, and the whereabouts of the cat remains a mystery. The officials learned to never underestimate the thinking and powers of a cat. 7. The monkey arrested for being a spy. The issues between India and Pakistan is not something new. Sometimes animals get caught up in the rift going on between both countries. Not one but several animals have been arrested on the basis of spying. In this case, this monkey is also one of such animals. But unlike other instances in which a code or message is found, this monkey didn't have any incriminating information on him. This monkey was arrested in Pakistan just because it crossed the Pakistani border from India. This is just unthoughtful and weird, but yes, it did happen. I would say this is wrong and animals shouldn't suffer from the disputes between the two countries. The monkey was captured with great difficulty and released to the zoo in Bahawalpur, where it was named Bobby. What incidents has been the most incredible to you so far? Go ahead and leave us a comment in the comments below. 6. The goat arrested for armed robbery. Police in Nigeria held goat on suspicion of attempted armed robbery. That is not something you hear every day. This is not your regular story, neither is it fiction. A goat was apprehended in Kwara State, Nigeria. Amazingly, the story behind the arrest was that 2 armed robbers were sighted and chased by security men, local vigilante. According to the vigilantes, one of the 2 robbers escaped while the other armed robber mysteriously turned to a goat to avoid being arrested. But fortunately, and unfortunately, The goat was arrested and locked up, which is indeed very hilarious. But the statement was made with so much confidence that it could not be ignored. The case was presented to the court, but all proceedings were stopped as there was no logical explanation. And the law doesn't engage in anything supernatural or any case without a solid scientific base or proof. The goat remained locked up in the police custody as the police officers still believe the goat is indeed the armed robber. The location of the escaped robber still remains a mystery, and he probably still roams free to date. 5. The parrot arrested for being a lookout. In a bid to alert and save its drug-dealing owners from a police raid, a parrot landed itself in police custody. A parrot regarded as papagaio do tráfico by the police in Brazil, Poá State, which means trafficking parrot, was arrested at the home of 2 alleged crack cocaine dealers, according to a news channel in Brazil. The parrot must have been trained for this purpose and was used as an onlooker by the owners, a man and a teenage girl, who are apparently drug dealers. The parrot was taught to alert the owners screaming "Mamãe Polícia," which means "Mama Police," whenever a police officer was sighted. This act had foiled several raid operations on drug dealers and other criminals in the area. When the case was well observed, the parrot was responsible for the raids going wrong. The parrot, as well as the owners, were eventually arrested. While the owners served a jail term, the parrot was taken to a local zoo, where it was trained to fly, as it only sat and stood guard in the cage where it was kept and never got to fly or spread its wings. 4. The Bengal goat arrested for excessive grazing. Goats are herbivores and would naturally be expected to eat leaves. They are especially attracted to saplings as they are very fresh, tasty, and have a bright color that attracts their attention. A goat would actually settle for any leaf it finds, dried or fresh, but if the two were made available, it would definitely go for the fresh one. It's just in their nature. 2 goats were apprehended for the continuous destruction of almond saplings, which are almost rare and takes a very long time to grow. The goats were later released after their owners paid a sum of 1,000 ron for damages and were advised to breed as goats on the outskirts of the town. There was another case of a goat eating the flowers planted in a judge's garden. The judge got angry and got both the goat and its owner arrested. They were both released after an undisclosed sum of money was paid as bail. If you live in an area with goats and you have a garden or planted flowers, make sure to barricade your flowers or garden and stop looking for excuses to start a case. If you cannot barricade, meet with the owner of the goat and come to an agreement. 3. The pig. Pigs are animals known to be mostly furious, probably aggressive. They always engage in fights with each other, and are known for their natural habit of sniffing the ground and feed on whatever they consider food. Basic pig stuff. Well, I wouldn't know, but this pig was arrested and persecuted for doing what most pigs wouldn't do. In fact, it's a very wild and wrong one at that. 2. The rooster arrested for noise pollution. This would arguably be one of the most hilarious arrests ever made. It's unimaginable and unheard of. Cockerels are known for their roost, especially early in the morning, randomly during the day, and sometimes at night. It is a natural attribute that cannot be controlled or stopped. It's not as if they choose to do it on purpose. Maurice, a rooster, was arrested on the basis of the complaint of disturbance by a retired old couple staying in the neighborhood. Usually, such complaints are bizarre, but nonetheless, Maurice was charged to court. Luckily for Maurice, the verdict was given in its favor. During this period, Maurice also gained several attentions from a lot of people and became famous. The owner, Ms. Fassot, and Maurice went home victorious and was paid a sum of £1,000 for damages by the retired couple who made the complaint. It's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber wondering about this picture of a police officer interrogating what looks like a bird and a dog put behind bars. If you come across a mysterious photo online and want us to look into it, just send it over, and we may even feature it on a future video. Now, we looked into this picture and found that the bird is actually an owl that was being questioned for wandering in the middle of the road. While the dog wasn't in prison, but was part of a campaign for animal cruelty. In that light, our top pick for today's video is 1. The elephant. Elephants are relatively peaceful, quiet, and even regarded as holy. But sometimes when stressed, they can become extremely violent, aggressive, and due to their enormous size, they can cause a lot of damages in a very short period before they can calm down. I would say this is the same case with Ramon Chandra. Ramachandra is a domestic 45-year-old elephant who got tensed, probably frustrated, lost control, and then angrily trampled on 3 people. The elephant was arrested and placed under observation and supervision under the Environmental Department. The elephant was not killed, but rather was granted bail, which requires 30 lakh rupees as punishment for the owner. Ramachandra was then banned from attending any social events for 3 months. It was said this was not the first time Ramachandra, the elephant, got into a lot of trouble with the government, but it has always been granted bail as elephants are referred to as an image of their god, and so can't be kept locked up in prison. And that's it for the 15 animals that got arrested for weird reasons. I am positive you found the video very interesting and have also learned a thing or two about the history of the weirdest animal arrests. Which animal do you think deserved a better trial? Which amazed you the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments section. And if you like this video, you should definitely check out the video showing on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.